Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming out on a beautiful night. So, Sue was certainly glad her picture is up there now. She saw it on the laptop, and now she's happy that it's up on the screen. So, it's an honor and a privilege to be in front of all the past Citizen of the Year award winners here today. The McFarland community is today because of these individuals and their selfless acts of accomplishments they have offered to this community. We have all benefited in one way or another from the service they have provided. If you go down to City Hall and see the photos of all the winners, you may know a little bit about each one, but probably not the whole story. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about Sue and her story as to why her photo should be on the wall. As I was thinking about Sue's photo being put next to the past winners, I remember one day when I was looking at each individual. I happened to be in City Hall, and I did not know all their stories, but I knew they were great leaders in our community. Is there anyone here that has not seen those photos? Anyone? A couple of you? Well, let me tell you what it looks like. So you walk down the hall, and on the right-hand side, they have each one of the past winners. And you can kind of sit there and reflect and look at those, but if you turn around, you're looking at the police station window. Now, I don't know what it is, but as soon as they become Citizens of the Year, apparently they're being watched by the local police department. So I met Sue about 6 years ago when I was asked to join the Food Pantry Board of Directors. I did not know a whole lot about the pantry, and I didn't know anything about Sue. Soon after joining the board, I was asked if I wanted to be president, and you know how that goes. When there's new blood and they want to get you involved right away, before you figure it out, you end up volunteering. So my first question to Sue was, are you going to stay here for my full term of presidency? It didn't take me long to figure out the vital role that Sue played in the food pantry. She is a portion of the heart and soul in the pantry. The remainder of the heart and soul of the pantry belongs to Tony Hutter. When I submitted Sue's name for Citizen of the Year, I called the chamber and requested that both Tony and Sue have the award. Unfortunately, it could only go to one individual, but she is truly part of the foundation of the pantry. So I want to tell you a little story about Tony as well. And you've already heard this from Tony. So a couple of years ago, we were not open on Saturday. We were only open during the week. And we thought, well, maybe we should try Saturdays to see if there's a need. And so after a couple months, we were at a board meeting. And I said, how is that going? And Tony said there was only one person that showed up on Saturday. And they are both taxed from a time standpoint tremendously. And so I said, well, you know, maybe we should have it on Saturdays if we don't have that many people coming in. And Tony said to me, she said, no. She said that person really needed it. They needed to come in and talk, and she actually sat and talked with the person for hours. That's the type of thing that these two do at the pantry. It's not always just dishing out food, but sometimes it's just listening to their stories. So thank you, Tony, for being part of that. When I called Sue about getting some information on her background, it was very difficult to get information. One of the first things she said was, this will be good for the food pantry. And this can be short, because remember, I'm the one who did not want a retirement party. Her focus, I think as all the focus is with the past Citizen of the Years, is their focus is on others and serving others in our community. But I did find out a couple things. Sue was born near Eau Claire and moved to the DeForest, Madison area when she was in 8th grade. Sue and Don were married 45 years ago. And Don, you can probably learn something from this. Things have changed then because you can no longer marry people when they're 10. So Sue would not give me her date of birth. So a little joke there. And I asked her if Don helps her out, and she said Don is not a volunteer because he has no choice. They have 2 children, Amy and Sarah, and 4 grandchildren. Sue worked at the DNR in HR, Human Resources, where she supervised 12 HR groups. When she retired from the DNR, she contacted the Retired Service Volunteer Program. They connected her with the food pantry in McFarland, where she started helping on Mondays. And one of the other things she said about being a volunteer for the food pantry, it's nice being in a place where you know appreciate it. So hopefully this will resonate very well, winning this award. When she started, she was helping manager Cleo, who some of you probably know. She was very instrumental in that. And when Cleo could no longer do it, Sue stepped up, helping her do reports, and ended up being the manager of the pantry. We should probably flip through a couple of these other photos as well. We hate to take this one off, but so there's Sue and her family, children and grandchildren. At the pumpkin patch, looks pretty, very happy there. Looks like a great day.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where this one was at.
I have a guess.
Well, have a good night, Don. Go back one. Go back to these two's up there. Okay. That's perfect. So when I asked Sue for photos, she says, I don't have any photos because I'm always the one taking the photos. But if you want to get a photo of Sue, I'm sure she'll look good in the back of the convertible in one of the parades coming up. Sue has a very long list of tasks that she completes at the pantry. She works with volunteers as young as 8 years old and serves guests that use the pantry who are in their 90s. So she works with people from the very young to the elderly. And I didn't want to go through everything that she does because it would take a long time. One of the criteria for Citizen of the Year is it's about what they do and volunteer for the community outside of their 40 hours of work. And Sue volunteers, I used to tell people about 30 to 35 hours a week, but I think that's actually many more hours than that. And one person asked one time, they knew Sue volunteered there, and they said, well, how much does she get paid? And apparently they didn't understand what volunteer meant. So she does this all out of the goodness of her heart. And I was talking to someone before the program started, and they said, is this the first time someone who has ever won this award that does not live in McFarland? And to me, that's more amazing, is that she does this for the McFarland community, and she doesn't live here. She lives in Monona. So just a huge heart. So some of the things that she does, obviously, she serves the guests when they come in for their food. She does an intake from food drives, making sure the food stays fresh as far as expiration dates. She coordinates and teaches volunteers, which is very important. It takes a lot of time to do that. She does shopping for the food pantry. She attends all board meetings. She helps with grant writing, negotiates with the property landlord, helps clean up the property, manage the physical property and facility, maintaining equipment and replacement of equipment when that's needed, coordinates the annual picnic, helps with many multiple fundraisers that we have throughout the year. The community's been fantastic, and Sue's always involved in that. There's the Easter meals, Christmas holiday meals, goes to farmers markets on Sundays to collect food that's donated from leftover at the Winona Farmers Market. Prepares reports on the pantry activities for the board, and prepares the annual report. The one thing that really stands out for me when I started several years ago on the board, we went to the Madison Foundation, Sue and I, and attended a meeting one night and talked to some of the top people there. A couple days later, I was in the pantry when Sue was serving some of the guests. And the way she relates to people, you couldn't tell if she's talking to the president of an organization or if she's talking to someone who is in desperate need of food, because everyone gets treated the same. She's very respectful and very consistent. To tell a story about Sue is that there was a lady that came into the pantry one day, and she drove up in a Cadillac. And the way the pantry works is that if you're out of district, anybody can come for the first time, and they've never turned them away. But if there's a pantry closer, then they just ask them to go to their local pantry. And there was several high school students there at the time. And they said to Sue, why is someone coming here very well dressed, with a Cadillac, and nails painted? And Sue's response was, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what's happening with other people's situation. So don't prejudge. So I think that's part of teaching our youth as well, in their respect and outlook on things. Personally, I can tell you that Sue is a truly amazing woman in what she does for the McFarland community. I've never met anyone who volunteers and puts others before herself. I also got a letter from her family that I would like to read to you. Our mom's service to others didn't start upon her retirement. While she maintained a full-time professional career and helped raise 2 girls, she gave whatever time she had to helping others. A few examples include being a Girl Scout troop leader for our first daughter, Amy, and then continued after Amy did not continue in the scouting, helping with Friday night dinners at the St. Martin house with their daughter, Sarah, and volunteering at church for funeral luncheons, all the while sitting on the sidelines freezing at soccer games or in a stuffy gym watching the girls' basketball. Being at every school concert, planning fun family vacations, and being a loving wife and caring mother with the central focus always being family. Today, her focus remains family. She's always there to help her 4 grandkids, which she spoils rotten, much to the chagrin of her daughters, takes care of her elderly mother, and we still get together once a week for family dinners. Family is everything to her, but serving others in need is her passion. And fortunately, something she has passed on to her daughters, volunteer time in their communities for various causes and professional organizations. Her drive and compassion is an inspiration to all those around her. We are lucky to call her mom. Indiana Jones was always seeking to find the hidden treasure. Lucky for us, we don't need to travel the world looking. because we have our own hidden treasure right in the room with us today. We are blessed. Sue Steinmetz, our 2015 Citizen of the Year. So now we have some presentations for Sue. The first one being, was it? There you go. Brad the Zevatar, village president. Was it? Sorry about that. Did I chop that up right?
I answer to just about anything. Well, once a year, we come together to honor a deserving individual who exemplifies the qualities each of us admire and respect among our friends, neighbors, and associates. The Citizen of the Year Award recognizes the significant contributions made by an individual to our community. The honor is not given for an outstanding single effort as much as for a long-term continuing commitment to our community. It's not given for being in a public or private position, as it is for being there when service is called for. And it's not given for being a member of some group, or for paying dues, or for financial contributions. It is given for being the one that everybody wants when there's a job to be done. It's for the one who says, sure, I'll help. What do we need to do? And then does it. Sue Steinmetz is an individual who has continued to give of her time and energy selflessly to our community for the past 5 years as co-manager of our food pantry. She's a model citizen, never asking for anything in return. Sue, like the citizens of the year before her, has set an inspiring example by contributing her efforts, skill, and knowledge in making McFarland a better place for all our citizens. So, Sue, on behalf of the McFarland Village Board, I would like to present to you this proclamation, which was issued by the board on March 9th, and to say thank you for all you have done for our community, and to congratulate you on this prestigious honor of being named Citizen of the Year 2015.
Next, with a much easier name to pronounce, Mark Miller. Thanks, Sam.
Rob Call. Mark didn't make it tonight.
Okay. Okay. Rob.
Representative Rob Call.
Rob, you're up.
Still Rob Call.
Thanks, Tom. Figured you'd get that name right. We only have one letter difference in our last name. Mark couldn't be here tonight. He's not feeling well, so I had to swing over there and pick up the citation. But he does send his congratulations and appreciation. He just is really under the weather. So I've been doing this, I think this is my 3rd or 4th year coming down here since I've started serving in the assembly. And it's one of the things I really look forward to, because frankly, there's a lot of days when I serve in the assembly and I'm in the minority in the assembly that you start to question your sanity for doing that job. We debated for 24 hours straight last week on a so-called right to work bill. And you come home, you're tired, and you think, Is this really what I should be doing? Because I've got 4 kids, age 10 and under, and a wife who's a saint. But it's people like Sue that it's an honor for me to represent. And this is a double win for me. I represent obviously Monona, where I'm from, and McFarland. So you've covered both of them for me. Thank you. For me, and I always enjoyed doing this when I was mayor of Monona and now in the state assembly, is recognizing those that think about others above themselves. That is certainly not politicians typically. It is usually not those always in business, but what we find are citizens like Sue who are willing to take their free time and give back. And, for somebody like Sue, who I just met today, I've known her daughter Amy for a while, and obviously that's a positive reflection on both of you. She's known Amy for years now. For somebody like Sue who retired after 35 years of work, instead of traveling around the world, though obviously they've done some traveling, she's giving, sounds like, full-time hours to this position, and has been discussed, these type of organizations can't survive unless you have volunteers. So the fact that you give back that time and that effort is what obviously makes McFarland great. It's a great place to live, a great place to do business. I've learned so much about this community in the last couple of years by coming to this and learning about the people that really provide the identity to McFarland, and you deserve great recognition for that, because it is a huge honor. It's been discussed. You go into Village Hall and you see the Wall of Honor there, even though it is facing the police department. Don't think of it like the post office with the wanted posters there. It's really a great thing to go in, and this is a unique. I represent 8 communities in the assembly. Nobody does this besides McFarland, and I think again that speaks volumes of McFarland, but really speaks volumes that they recognize your efforts and your work. So I've got a citation here. I won't read the whole thing. That Mark and I had done. That is a citation by the legislature, signed by the Speaker and the Senate President, also on March 9th. And this isn't something that we do lightly in the legislature. There's a process, and you have to certainly have justification for it. There was certainly no problem in getting justification for this. Once we put the resume out there and told them everything you've done for the community, and they were, there was no question. Everybody was very impressed and very happy to sign this and do this for you. So congratulations. Thank you again for your service, and thanks for having us be a part of this.
Next, Tim, our Chamber President.
Come on, you can say my last name.
Neuenschwander.
Try spelling it though.
No cheating. Thank you. I'd just like to add a few words to all the nice things that have already been said about Sue and her co-manager, Tony. As we've heard from the other speakers already tonight, volunteering is one of the things that makes McFarland a special place to live. It's one of the things that make up the heart of our community. And that's why it's such a special honor for us as the Chamber of Commerce to be able to honor individuals such as Sue and all of our other past winners of the Citizen of the Year in a banquet like this. What you do is an invaluable service to McFarland, both you and all of the volunteers at the food pantry. As much as our nonprofit organizations in town depend on our dollars and our donations, I think anybody who's been up for this award before will tell you the time is really the most valuable thing that you can give to any organization. Without your efforts, without your time, it just wouldn't be what it is. And of all the positive things that I've heard tonight, I think the thing that stuck out to me most was your organization and your willingness to work with the next generation of volunteers in our community to really help them realize how important a position like this is and how important it is to give back to the community and what that means for not just McFarland now, but McFarland for years to come. So on behalf of the McFarland Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to say thank you and congratulations as our 2015 Citizen of the Year. And to add to your growing hardware collection there, I have one more plaque for you. So.
Sit down, you're next. Give it up for Stu Steinmetz.
Thank you all very much. Mary told me I didn't have to have a speech, so we're just going to wing this a little. Can you hear me? Wes? Better? Okay. First of all, thank you very much. This has been quite an honor. It is nice to be here with some of the previous winners of this award, of which I know quite a few of them. So it is an honored group to be able to be with. As it relates to the food pantry, I do want to recognize again Tony Hutter. Without her, I would not be here doing this award. As Tom was listing all the work that we do, it's not me doing all that work, take my word for it. Tony's there right alongside me, and I really appreciate everything you do. The other people to thank are our volunteers, and we talked about how I volunteer doing this. You would not believe the number of volunteers that we have. I just have been working on the annual report, and we had 240 volunteers last year helping us. That's not counting all the Lions, the church people, the individual Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts that are out there. Those are the people that are actually coming to the pantry every week, helping us do the things that we need to do to get the food out to the citizens here in McFarland that need it. So without those volunteers, we would not be able to do it. We've got some of them here today, some of them that are there week in and week out. So while we have 240 that have passed through our doors this last year, we probably have about 20 that are there day in and day out. And I want to thank them all for the work that they do for us. People talk about this being a volunteer job. I just want to say, I don't look at this as being a job. I think this is fun. When I retired from work and being in HR, as Tom mentioned, I wasn't the most popular person, but that's, what HR is about. But the people, the community of McFarland is wonderful. The support that they give the food pantry is great. I mean, every time I turn around, somebody's wanting to come in and help us, make a donation, stock shelves, rake the yard, any number of things. So the community support is terrific. The people who come and use the pantry are also fabulous. Really, they make my day. They come in, they're so happy to be able to come in. We're so happy to serve them. It gives them a little reprieve of some of the things that are maybe not so good in their life. So they're great people. So I thank all of McFarland for this award. And before I give up the microphone, I have to thank my family. As Tom also mentioned, my husband doesn't think he volunteers because I make him do things for it, but he happily does it. He loves picking up and delivering things for me. But I also thank the rest of my family, my children, my grandchildren, my mother, my aunt. They all participate in being part of the food pantry. So it is a true family affair, and that family, again, is my own personal family, but the whole family of McFarland. So thank you very much.
Apparently, I've been given the responsibility to end the program, and since nobody wants a long-winded preacher at the end of a special event, I'll give you a blessing in the manner of St. Patrick's. May a blessing accompany you as you go out from this place. May you find God before you, behind you, at your left hand, at your right, in your work and in your play, in all that you do. And all God's people said, Amen.
So thank you all for coming out tonight. Have a safe trip home. Go Badgers.